Give your full attention to this story you're about to hear, because this is a very, very interesting update and you will learn a lot from it. Let's go. This is Kenneth Harwood, 61, silver hair, reputation of steel. A judge who believed mercy was weakness dressed as compassion. He's the kind of man who smiled when he said, 12 years. Now look at this woman. Her name is Denise Poole. She went to a caffeine shop. She didn't went there for caffeine. She went there for justice, the kind the court never gave her. When she rises, the room doesn't notice, but the universe does. She crosses to Harwood's table, pauses, long enough to remember the sound of her nephew's mother's funeral hymns, long enough to remember the last time Raymond laughed like he was still a boy. Then, with emotion that looks like forgiveness, she tips her hand over his glass. Nothing dramatic, no shaking, no tears, just quiet intention. She returns to her seat, finishes nothing, and leaves. It takes an hour for death to find him, guided not by rage, but by patience. The bartender, Sharon Vickers, plays her part. She doesn't know whether she's helping or surviving. When she shakes the judge's shoulder, she already knows what she'll find. Still, she dials 911. Still, she screams. And still, she lies. 2 years earlier, a courtroom in Mobile County. The defendant, Raymond Poole, 24 years old, poor, guilty of armed robbery with an unloaded gun. Judge Harwood didn't flinch. He didn't look at Raymond. He looked at the ceiling, as if mercy might fall from it. Maximum sentence, 12 years. Denise stood up in the gallery and shouted, "You killed him!" They dragged her out. She didn't resist. She just whispered, "No, I'm only watching you do it." The system forgot her that day. She didn't forget the system. 2 years of silence. Denise went to work. She laughed when co-workers told jokes. She sang in the car. She was by all accounts ordinary. But in private, her home computer hummed with purpose. Searches that looked like desperation, but were actually devotion. How much cyanide kills a man? Where to buy potassium cyanide? How to make poison undetectable? Each search was a letter in a language only grief can write. Her heart didn't harden overnight. It decayed slowly, like a fruit left in sunlight. She didn't want revenge. She wanted balance. And she believed balance had to bleed. The inside help came from Sharon Vickers, bartender, mother of 2, desperate for extra cash. Denise offered her money to make the judge sick. Sharon said no. Then Denise raised the price. By the third offer, Sharon wasn't thinking about morality. She was thinking about rent. All Sharon had to do was send a message. He's here. She never thought the message would end a life. But she pressed send anyway. March 18th, 2008. The text arrived. Denise got in her car. No trembling hands, no racing heart. She'd rehearsed this feeling. Serenity disguised as guilt. Inside the Crescent Room, Judge Harwood was already on his third bourbon, heavy with the illusion of peace. He didn't know that the woman who'd begged for mercy in his courtroom was about to give him something far more permanent. At 10:42, she moved. Surveillance cameras caught everything, except her soul. 30 seconds, one gesture, a soft sigh. Then she left. He didn't even see her go. When he died, it looked ordinary. An old man, too much alcohol, too much arrogance. Even death let him save face. But cyanide doesn't hide. When the autopsy came back, the truth crawled out like rot under paint. The footage told the rest. So did the texts. So did Sharon when the detectives showed her phone records. Denise Poole was arrested without a word. No confession, no denial. Just quiet, like a woman who had already served her sentence. At trial, the prosecutor painted her as cold. The defense tried to paint her as broken. The jury saw something else entirely: purpose. A woman who didn't scream or beg, just acted. When the verdict came, guilty of capital murder, Denise looked at no one. She just whispered, "Now we're even." The judge sentenced her to death. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Sharon got probation. Raymond finished his 12 years. The Crescent Room died slowly from curiosity and bad memory. But the story doesn't end there. 5 years later, a letter arrived at the Mobile County Prosecutor's Office. No return address, just one sentence inside. The cyanide came from the courthouse evidence locker. The handwriting was Denise's, except she'd been on death row the day it was postmarked. The system panicked quietly. The letter was never released publicly. But someone knew. Someone had helped her. Maybe it was a guard who saw too much of himself in her. Maybe it was someone who'd sat in Harwood's courtroom one too many times. Maybe it was Sharon. We'll never know. But in a way, that's fitting, because the story was never really about guilt. It was about balance and how far a person will go when the law forgets how to weigh it. That's it for today's update. If you learned something from the video, please like the video, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next updates.
This is Updates Home. Until next time, stay safe.